He was once a prince, now a beast bound by pride and pain. But one girl dared to stay. One girl dared to believe. In part 2, the path to redemption begins. But the forest does not forgive so easily. Subscribe now and witness the battle between the spirit and the soul. The day Eze spoke Nneka's name, the wind itself seemed to pause. She gasped, stepping back, nearly slipping into the stream. You can talk?" The goat Eze lowered his head and managed one more word, hoarse and broken. "Please." It wasn't just the voice, it was the pain behind it, the kind of pain only a human soul could carry. And Nneka, though just a farmer's daughter, was no ordinary girl. She had seen things others didn't, felt the spirit in the wind, heard songs in the silence of the night. So she did not run. Instead, she stayed and listened. Over days, then weeks, Eze's voice returned, one word at a time, through tears, bleats, and slow sentences. He told her everything: the forest, the spirit, the curse, the pride that led to his fall. Nneka's heart, aching, said only one thing when he finished: "Then we will find the spirit again and beg her." To seek the forest spirit was to invite madness or worse, but Nneka believed there was more to the curse. And the forest, strange as it was, seemed to bend around Eze's pain. So one night, they walked together into the heart of Uamiri. The trees opened like they knew his name. Fireflies lit the path. A river whispered secrets in a tongue Nneka couldn't understand. And at the base of a gnarled Iroko tree, they found them. The grove spirits, old, wrinkled, part root, part bone. They sat in a circle, watching the cursed prince and the girl. "Why do you return, horned one?" one asked, voice like dry leaves. "I was foolish," Eze said. "I mocked your guardian. I touched what I did not respect." Another spirit leaned in. "And yet you were born under the moon that commands beasts and men. You were meant to balance both." "What do you mean?" Nneka asked. The groove shuddered. The ground pulsed. "You were not cursed, prince. You were awakened, but pride made you blind." Eze's heart twisted. "Then I was meant to become this?" They nodded. "To lead, not just men, but all living things. You were chosen by the earth, but now the land is dying. A greater evil grows in Agubia, one who profits from your fall." Eze's breath caught. "Who?" The fireflies dimmed. The wind carried one name: Ogbunaya. In the palace of Agubia, while the people cried for salvation, Ogbunaya, the king's advisor, ruled in shadow. He had always envied Eze, his beauty, his gift, his destiny. So when Eze was cursed, Ogbunaya had gone into the forest in secret, not to help, but to strike a second bargain with the spirit. But what he found wasn't the forest spirit. It was something darker. A rat born of harsh and envy. It fed on broken destinies, and Ogbunaya, full of bitterness, made a pact. "Let me rule, and I will keep the true king cursed." In return, the rat gave him power. He poisoned the king slowly, replaced loyal priests with his puppets, and declared the throne empty, till a sign from the gods came. But no sign came, because the true king still breathed, and the forest began to wake. That night, after returning from the grove spirits, Nneka could not sleep. Her dreams were filled with fire. Horns, a golden crown buried in ash. She stood in the dream before a mirror of water, and in it she did not see herself. She saw a woman made of moonlight and vines, the forest spirit. "You are more than you believe, child of the soil," the voice said. "Your blood remembers." When she awoke, her skin was glowing faintly. Her palm bore a mark. a spiral of vines, and Eze was staring at her, wide-eyed. Your face, it's like ours. Ours? The forest spirits. Rain poured over Agubia like a warning from the heavens. Inside the royal courtyard, Ogbunaya sat alone in the hall of judgment, surrounded by false priests and silent guards. They bowed to him now. They called him keeper of the kingdom, but he wanted more. He wanted the crown. In his chamber, a shrine stood behind thick curtains. Candles of black wax burned low, and on the altar lay a marks, carved from bone, stained with goat blood, and etched with markings not of this world. Ogbunaya bowed before it. From the shadows, the wrath spoke. Eze breathes. Ogbunaya froze. Impossible! Your fear makes him stronger. The forest stares. The girl is marked. If you wish to rule, you must burn the roots. Ogbunaya's hands trembled. He knew what that meant. He had to destroy Nneka. Deep in the Uamiri forest, Nneka and Eze sat beside the whispering river. Fireflies lit the night in spirals. The mark on Nneka's palm pulsed. She placed her hand in the water. Visions came. A boy born with a crown of stars. A forest spirit laying a vine over his cradle. A snake slithering into the palace. And a girl, her standing in a field of flames, holding a blade made of light and roots. She gasped, pulling her hand back. What did you see? Eze asked. That you were never meant to be king alone. He frowned. What do you mean? She looked at him, eyes wide. There were two crowns in the vision, one beast, one root, two fates, yours and mine. The grove spirits summoned them again. Time is short, they warned. Ogbunaya now haunts the root bearer. Nneka's breath caught. We can give you back your form, the spirits said to Eze, but not as you were. You must embrace your beast soul. Only then can you be king in truth. Eze nodded. I am ready. They led him to the heart of the forest, a glowing pool under a moonlit tree. Nneka stepped back as the spirits chanted. The water turned gold. Eze stepped in. His horns shimmered. His eyes burned. His goat form cracked like old bark. Fur fell. Skin glowed. Then he screamed. Not in pain, but in release. When he emerged, he was no longer fully goat, nor fully man. He was both. Tall, powerful, eyes like the storm, horns of gold, curved back from his head like a crown. His voice, when he spoke, echoed with command. I remember who I am. Agubia burned. Ogbunaya had sent men to Nneka's village. They set fire to her father's farm. Her mother barely escaped. The priestess, who once named Eze, was dragged from her shrine and left in the market square with ash on her tongue. When Nneka and Eze arrived, the people hid in fear, but when they saw Eze, his form, his presence, his fire, they knelt. Is it the true king? Someone whispered, and when Nneka raised her hand, the vine mark glowing, the winds stopped. She turned to the crowd. The kingdom is cursed by lies, but tonight we rise. The people shouted. Old warriors stepped forward. Drummers began to play again, and the rebellion began. But deep in the palace, Ogbunaya prepared one last trap. He had stolen something from Eze long ago, a horn broken during the curse. He had baited it in wrought ash and bound it with evil. If he returns, Ogbunaya told the wrought, this will kill his beast soul. And he planned to use it, but he didn't know one thing. Nneka had also changed, and she now carried a secret power of her own, a voice not just of the root, but of the forest itself. And when the time came, she would not let him strike alone.